you a psychic, sensitive, or seeker who wants to learn more? Welcome to the Mystic School with Sarah Wiseman, where we dive deep into all things mystic and metaphysical. Here's Sarah.
Welcome everybody to the Mystic School. I'm Sarah Wiseman, your host, and so happy this is just our, I've been doing radio a long time, many years, but this is the first time we've done the Mystic School, and this is just our second show of this series, and I'm excited because today is summer solstice, and for those of you guys who know what this is, summer solstice is the day when there is the most light. It's the day that there is the most light, and the day the sun sort of seems to stand still. Now, if you're up in Alaska or the far north, you've probably already had multiple days of sort of like the night never comes. It's just all day, all the time for a while. And here in places like Seattle and Portland, around here, the Northwest, where I'm coming to you from, we've had a lot of rain, and then now suddenly we're getting this remembrance of the light and the way that the light illuminates everything. And so on solstice, there's all kinds of traditions, all kinds of ways to work with that in terms of your own practice. But the main thing is to think about this idea of light and letting the light in, and what that means to you, as a spiritual being, or maybe just as a regular being that doesn't really know how they feel about spirituality or intuition or any of that world. But just thinking about what happens when the light comes in, and what happens when we shine that divine flashlight on just about everything in our lives. We are going to have live callers today, and the number to call in, and we'll do this in a little bit, that's 888-298-5569, 888-298-5569. And I would love it if you have something to talk about that's solstice-y, or something that you're thinking about in terms of the metaphysical world. But I also just welcome your comments and what you're working on today. I'm really pretty open. So it's 888-298-5569. So I also wanted to remind you, in terms of housekeeping, today I am doing a workshop with East West Books of Seattle, and we're doing a big solstice workshop tonight. So for those of you who would like to join, you can go to my website, sarahwiseman.com, and there it is there in a giant on the front page of that is sarahwiseman.com. So what does it mean to focus on the light? And what does it mean to bring this into your understanding so that it is the main way you're living? And for me, what this means is, one, you commit to your healing, all the things that we all need to heal from. And one of the things that starts happening if you start working with the light, and by light I mean all of the practice that bring you into a higher consciousness level, or this understanding of oneness. One of the things that happens is that healing starts to happen automatically, or it starts to happen without effort. And also, one of the things that happens after the healing happens is that there's no more need for healing. Like, once the healing has happened, there's no more need for healing. And then you begin to start onto the next stage of your development as a conscious being, which is living in joy and living in appreciation, and this feeling of oneness permeating yourself and your life all the time. So some of the ways that you can get to this. So if we accept that most of us arrive to this place of spiritual wondering and spiritual wandering because we have so many issues, life is so rough and so hard, and it is, especially at the beginning when you're beginning this journey. Life is so rough and nothing seems to work. And we're like, what is the solution? And we might try all these things. We might try addictions, we might try relationships, we might try distractions of all kind, and everything we might try to take ourselves out of this pain that we're in, this pain of past trauma, or this pain of present trauma, or just the way of the world at this point. And so, we try all that stuff, and none of it, it could be anything, like addictions, remembering it's not just drugs and alcohol. It could be sports, it could be shopping, it could be watching TV, it could be overworking. It's like addiction as a way of distracting yourself from what is. So we try all that. Most of our lives, up to a certain point, our lives have this sort of arc in which we sort of build up all our defenses, and then there's this point where we start just dropping our defenses down. So here we are, just loading on all the distractions and the addictions and the busyness, and thinking, it's got to get better. I'm working at it so hard. But all we've really been doing is sort of layering on more mud on the problem or the problems. We've been sort of layering more armor on who we are. So we just, okay, I feel unhappy, so I'm gonna drink wine. I feel unhappy, so I'm gonna eat a bunch of candy. I feel unhappy, so I'm gonna go to all these events and keep myself so busy. I'm gonna really go crazy on my sports team that I love, and I'm just gonna distract. These are just a couple of the ways we do it. I'm gonna get super political on one side or another, or I'm gonna just really work really hard and get super, in quotes, successful because I can't fill this hole inside me. And all the time, and here's sort of what we're talking about today, is the universe is sort of tapping at the window going, yeah, that's that's not really going to work. It's going to work temporarily. It's going to fill the gap a little bit. But it's not really doing it for you, is it? And then some people find different versions of religion, and that really does tend to work for a lot of people. Anytime we're connecting to truly divine source without all of this sort of more problematic political stuff that comes along with that, connecting to true source, yeah. But all the other stuff is just like layering on top. It's like digging the hole deeper and then putting mud on top of it. So what do? And we hear this little tapping, and maybe we hear our own heart beating like there's gotta be more. There's gotta be more. And then maybe things start to happen. So we've got this pretty big armor built up, and things start to happen, and then life gets harder. Maybe somebody we love, we lose them, or maybe a relationship breaks up, or we get fired, or we have an illness, or we're in a car accident. These big things happen where the normal way of dealing with the problem, it just doesn't work. You're worse off than before. And you're like, there must be a solution. And I just want to tell you, like, the solution is not like take my workshop or, buy my book. Like none of that matters at all. The solution is for you personally, privately, as a committed practice to start making connection with the universe. Like there's nothing you need to buy or follow. This is your individual soul's journey. It just depends if you are at that point yet where you're ready to start it. And for a lot of us, myself included, it takes a lot to cut through all this armor that we've built up over time, all this, oh, if I just do this, it's going to be fine. If I just do that, I just got to follow society's path perfectly. I just got to follow what my ego and my mind are telling me perfectly. Everything's going to be okay. But of course, just more of the same, more of the hamster wheel. So we're going to take a super fast break. And when we get back, we're going to talk about what actually does work, that you don't have to buy, you don't have to join, you just start. And it's about following the path of flow. So you were listening to Sarah Wiseman. You will find me at sarahwiseman.com, and we're going to be back in just a second with more of the Mystic School.
Okay, 30 seconds here.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Mystic School with Sarah Wiseman. We're talking today about how the mystic follows the path of flow. We were talking earlier about how what society tells you, what your mind tells you, all the things you've been raised on, all these ideas, for the most part, it's either 100% or 99% incorrect. Now, it may have served you at one time, but at a certain point as an adult, you get to the point of questioning everything and wondering why everything that you were taught is not making you're not happy, you're not relaxed, you're not peaceful, you're not connected, or maybe things on the surface are going pretty well in your life, but at this deeper level, there's something more. And so the thing that's wonderful about the universe is it's pretty direct. When you start to meet the universe, not even halfway, just a little tiny bit, the universe starts to come forward with all of these signs and all of this direction and all of these synchronicities. And all you need to do, the only thing required is to begin to follow this stuff. And it can be as easy as you see the number 1111. And instead of going, oh, 1111, what does that mean? I'll look it up online and see what that means in terms of numerology. That's one approach. But the approach I like better is go 111 or 1111, and you notice, what am I thinking about and what am I doing because this is the universe giving me a little bit of a yes, or you go, or you're on the right track. And so when you have this moment of synchronicity, you take it as a disruptor to pay attention more to what's happening, to pay attention to the energetic field around whatever it is you're doing. So that's one part. The other part is, all of you, you've been to the bookstore, you take the book down, you open the book, and there's this phrase for you. So instead of taking that as, oh, that was coincidental or how weird, like actually begin to follow this phrase. Or say you're a person that uses tarot or oracle cards and you pull a card every day. You pull the card and you're like, okay, that's my guidance for the day. But instead, really, really begin to work with this card. And or say you're a person that's out in nature a lot, you're riding your bike and you see out where I live here in Oregon, actually, where I am, there's tons of nature. And so I'm continually seeing all kinds of animal life. I'm seeing raccoons, I'm seeing eagles, I'm seeing deer all the time. Sometimes I see a bobcat. So as this animal messenger comes, what were you thinking about? What were you doing in the moment this sort of, in quotes, magical affirmation arrived to say, yes, whatever you were thinking, whatever you were sensing, whatever you're doing, you were on the right track. Now, sometimes synchronicities will help us understand the danger parts. Like if we're in a relationship that doesn't work, you'll start to notice that many things in your life don't work. You lose your keys, your car doesn't start, the window breaks, on and on. The universe giving you these signs and synchronicities like something's not right with the energy here. So you're looking in following flow. You're looking for these places of where am I getting affirmation and where am I getting warning? And as you get affirmation, you go towards more of that, more of the things that are bringing you this kind of magical yes. And as you get more what I'd call warning, okay, so that is the universe completely directing me to remove myself or to move away from those situations. It's just pretty easy. Again, the universe is not tricky. The universe has a very good sense of humor, and often the things that you're finding yourself following when you're in flow, it's almost like a comedy show sometimes in terms of how the messages come. The other thing is, the more you are in conscious practice, so the more you commit to this idea of being a part of oneness or being a soul in part of collective soul, the more you allow that, yes, you're unique, you're special, aren't we all so great, right? And we're also just part of this collective soul that is everything, that is every animal, every person, every plant, every planet, every galaxy, this massive energy that is oneness. This is what we really are. So we're special and we're also not special, or maybe we'd say everyone's special, but really what it is everyone's everything. All of it is one. The more you understand this, the more able you are to see clearly past what society is telling you, which is society saying everything's separate. Everything's separate. This person, this style of person, that style of person, this political belief, that political belief, people with money, people without money, this nation, that nation, everything's separate. The universe says everything's one. So the more you can do practices that help you feel this sense of oneness, for a lot of people this might be singing, or doing music, or dancing, or riding your bike, or going for a walk, or swimming, or laughing, the more you can do this stuff that brings you to this remembrance of your innate oneness, the more flow, the more synchronicities you start to notice, and the more you follow those, the more a sense of oneness begins to come into your life. Now, you probably know lots of people, or some people, that are living these just astounding lives. And I don't mean people that, like they have tons of money and they have like 7 Lamborghinis. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that seem genuinely happy and content and joyful and generous and interested and curious. So we're talking about consciousness. These are conscious people. This is where you're trying to shed all those societal layers and lift yourself up into this light. So today's solstice. There's lots of celebrations. I'd love to have you join me at this East-West event that you can find out about it's a Zoom event, find out about at sarahwiseman.com. And if you can go there, that's great. And if you can't, I would love for you to just hang out in the light wherever you can find it. And just remember your part in the place of all things. And just let the light illuminate for you on this longest day. Just let the light illuminate who you are, your great grace and beauty. And let the light also clearly show you everything that needs to drop away, everything that's not important at all. And just allow this light to illuminate and allow this light to reveal and go toward what is shining brightly and leave behind the stuff that doesn't matter. If you are interested in learning about this and learning about some of the practices that we do in order to see more clearly what pieces of our life are ready to be let go, who we really are, and of course, all of the psychic, intuitive, all of that realm, once you start to become conscious, psychic nature is second nature. It's just part of what happens in the package. If you'd like to know more, we have so many courses and so many podcasts, just like this wealth of information on how to bring this into your own life. And even if you're just starting out, remember, everybody just starts out somewhere, right? We all arrive into this world with stuff we're here to work through. And our journey as souls is to come to this place where we leave all that stuff behind. And just again, we inhabit in joy, in light, in connection. This is what we're here for. If you're interested in finding out more, please visit Sarah at Sarah Wiseman. Until then, I will be back with you next week for more of the Mystic School. Happy solstice, and thanks for listening.
All right, we're clear. I'm going to let the music play for a little bit because we're a little early, but it works just fine to have a little bit of music trailing out.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, thanks
Great.
very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye.